Okay, welcome back. I'm going to be playing some constructed. This is the deck I want to build. You can see I'm missing a ton of cards, mostly rares. I haven't spent any of my mythic wild cards yet. I'm going to talk a little bit about constructed before I start playing, just to give you an idea. Um, so for the mythics, I need Sarkhan 3 times, Nicole Bolas 4 times, and Niv Mizzet 3 times. So that's 10, and I have 5. These are the hardest thing to get, mythic rare wildcards. I think that's all the mythics, and then the mana base is all rare. Basically, that's gonna take a while. I only have 6 rare wildcards, and then in addition to that, I have some other rare stuff that is gonna take a bit. So the gold, I still want to spend my gold on drafting. I don't just want to buy packs straight away. Opening Guilds of Ravnica, I have a decent chance to just rare draft some of these Ravnica cards. That should help a bit. But what I've been just found out I should do lately, I've been doing this. You go into competitive construct, or no, you go into constructed event, and you do this. So I've tended to win 5 and 6 times, and then I just actually profit gold and I get cards. And if you can win like this many, at least one of them is going to be a rare. This will be 2 rares. That can really help to fill out the cards you don't have, assuming you get ones that you actually need. So I'm going to be playing with a mono blue deck. I'll show you the deck real quick. I really didn't like this deck at first. Now that I've been playing with it more, I mean, it's a tempo deck. It's not super interesting. I tend to like playing control decks more, stuff that has like wants to slow the game down and do more fun, interesting stuff. But this does get to be kind of interesting. Like if you play against aggro mono red, you actually have to you have to slow them down. You're generally trying to be the beatdown in most of the matchups, and I'll talk about what that means a little bit more if you're not familiar with the term. But let's just start playing. So there's a few win conditions in this. Curious Obsession is one of the big ones. I'll actually just talk about it as I play. I know I could just go through, but you'll get it very quickly what the deck does just watching me play. And the only risk here is that if I don't win a lot, I mean, you can lose 3 times, so like chances are you're probably going to win at least twice, and then you only spend 200 gold, but you're also getting uncommons, so it's not terrible. But generally, I've been winning pretty well doing this, so I'm willing to risk it. We do mono blue, and this is a good way to grind gold if you can win, and it's fun. I like this a lot better than on Hearthstone or even like Guilty Gear. I know it's a weird comparison, but you play Guilty Gear online, there's no stakes. You know, you want to beat this guy because you want to beat him, and sometimes that's enough. But it would be cool if there were some modes with like I don't know how they would do it, but where you actually are really wanting to win. Like I really want to win because I've invested gold here. Okay, this is a borderline hand. I don't really like it. I'm going to keep it because I have 3 lands and a playable 1-drop, and this 1-drop is going to let us scry and draw a card so we can hopefully dig for what we need. Wizard's Retort plus Trickster is really good. I'll talk about that in a second. We are going to we're going to opt at the end of his turn. This deck, one cool thing this deck does is it has a lot of counter plays. Like this is a counter spell. This can be played during their turn. So if we ever leave our mana open, it gives them a little bit of a pause. Okay, he's probably playing mono. Well, he might be playing. So right before he takes, we're gonna see. Okay, right before he takes his turn, we're gonna opt because we're gonna get that mana back on our turn. We might as well just wait and see what he's doing. He might actually, if he's mono blue, he could spell pierce that. Yeah, okay. I'm kind of okay with that. I think Spell Pierce is a little bit more valuable than Opt, probably. Okay, so our choices here, we can play this right now, which is going to help us get the cards we need later, but I think we're pretty good for 3-drops. This is a little bit more aggressive, probably, but more importantly is this is going to reduce the cost of Wizard's Retort, which we want for sure. So we're just going to wait. We want him to spend the mana. Ideally, he spends the mana and then we play this, because we're playing him. Oh, he's actually is it? Okay. Huh. I thought he was mono blue with the spell pierce, but we'll see. Okay. that's not great for us. We can't do anything right now, unfortunately. So this, when it comes in, it taps it. So we'll be able to get a free attack in at least, which is something. Also, it's going to lose the abilities. It shouldn't make a difference. This might be good. The thing here is, so we have, this is our first real interesting choice. If we play our Jhin, we can start attacking, which is very good for sure. But I found with this deck, we already have a little bit of offense, although this does kind of stop it. We want to keep Wizard's Retort open, though. I think that's more important than anything, so I'm actually just going to attack and just end. I want to save the mana for Wizard's Retort, because chances are he's going to play a 3-drop this turn, and I want to be able to counter it. This is how, because this deck doesn't have removal. This is removal technically. It bounces a creature, but what we really want is to prevent him from. We want to prevent him from developing threats, and later we want to protect our valuable creatures. This isn't really valuable. I'm not going to counter that. I don't see that as a big enough threat to do anything about. Sorry, I'm trying to open up the chat. And we can always bounce this, but it's not really the card we want to bounce, or the creature we want to bounce. Because this deck has flying. Most of our threats are unblockable, generally. Our true threats are unblockable. Okay, so this is something we definitely want to counter, I think. There would be an argument not to do it, but I don't really know what his deck is kind of off meta, I feel like. Sorry, I'm trying to pop out the chat here. Okay, there it is. Alright, so now we can no longer attack unless we bounce this guy. The thing is here, we don't have any counters in our hand, so I do feel either we bounce this and I get an attack in, or we just develop the Jhin and start swinging. I'm going to go for this just because I want to sap some tempo from him. I want him to have to replay this for 2 mana. And there's a lot of stuff in this deck that can protect the Jhin. Whereas if I just play it now and he has removal, he's just going to kill it. Whereas this, he doesn't really want to use removal on either of these cards. And it just kind of is a bad situation for him in general. The best thing he can do is just develop a 4-drop creature. Would be scary. Or replaying this doesn't really do what he needs, so I'm happy to see that. Okay, that's pretty okay. So now I can't get an attack through, and he spent his mana efficiently. Alright, Spell Pierce is a bit late. Well, it's good because we can play the Jhin now, and there's no downside. I'm going to attack just to see if he, for some reason, fears a combat trick, even though this deck doesn't run combat tricks, and he probably knows that. Wow, he didn't block it. Okay, cool. So free damage. And now we play the Jhin. We have a potential way to protect it. Of course, if he pays 2 more mana, he can still get his spell through. So if he plays something like... I'm gonna counter this. I know we want to protect the Jhin, but the fact that he's playing Divination, it's all of his mana, and he probably really needs the cards. He needs an answer to this, and he doesn't have it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have played Divination. So I think in the long run, we're protecting the Jhin by doing that. So we're going to attack. He's probably going to block now, yeah, I would assume. Okay, so we play this. I mean, we still have 3 mana open. The only reason to not play this would be to make him think we might have a counter in hand. But I think it's more valuable to get damage that he can't block on the board and surveil. Surveil is really important because we're top decking now, and we want to make sure we top deck good stuff and not bad stuff. With the Jhin out, islands are still pretty good because they buff the Jhin. But okay, so he's gonna hit the Trickster. I'm not so sure. Why wouldn't he have played that first? So he got another ping out. Okay, whatever. So this is 7 to face. He can't do anything about it. I get to surveil. Wizard's Retort is very good. I can use that next turn. This should lock him out and win us the game. Oh no, we don't draw it yet. Sorry. So if he draws if he plays a really strong flyer, this turn we might be in trouble. Or that is pretty good. Although we do have another one guaranteed right here. So he's still top. He probably isn't going to be able to do anything. Another Jin is good. I'm going to take that. Just in case he removes this, we want to have something that he can't really deal with very easily. Anything he does this turn, I'm going to retort. Yeah. Normally, that's a questionable counter because like this card isn't that good, blah, blah, blah. But this card is good because it's going to kill him. And aside from that, he has no cards in hand. So it's not like, you know, normally you're like, well, if I counter this, then what's he going to do after? But he doesn't have any cards, so he's not going to do anything. Yeah. You didn't really get to see that game with the Curious Obsession. That's really how this deck goes off. There's 4 copies of it in the deck. You're not always guaranteed to get it and be able to use it. It is one of your main win conditions, but it's not your only win condition. So, but it is a thing where if you can get it going on like turn 2, it's incredibly hard for them to come back from. Okay. This is sketchy. So we have a 1-drop. We have multiple 1-drops, which is good. We have Essence Scatter, which is good. My issue with this is if we're playing against aggro, I don't really think this is good too, but if we don't draw the lands, we're really in trouble. I'm going to mulligan. Fuck. So this is a 0 land hand with no 1-drops. I can't keep that. This is looking bad. Wow, this is insane. I think we have to mulligan again, honestly. Alright, I'll keep that. Jesus Christ. Chart a course. It's a little bit slow, but we can at least do it on turn 2 and draw more cards and try to recover from this mulligan that we had to do so many times. Basically, we'll attack with a Mistcloak Herald and then we'll draw cards. And that is going to be a very slow way and a complete waste of our turn to catch up to where we were if we didn't have to mulligan so many times. Hopefully he's not aggro. Okay, he's Dimir. So he can't block this, thankfully, so we just attack. Draw some lands, hopefully. Nope. Trickster will be playable if we don't draw a land at least, but it's not really what we're looking for here. We want Curious Obsession and or an island. Okay. So the Sprite contests the Spy Bug, but that's under the assumption that he doesn't Surveil next turn. And we'd have to double block, which I don't like. So we're not going to play that. We're going to save the mana for the Trickster. And we're just going to swing with this every time. We don't want to be chump blocking with the Herald. We kind of need it to get going. If we draw Curious Obsession, that's what we put Curious Obsession onto. And I'll talk about Curious Obsession once I actually get it. The Trickster, I want to play pre-combat in this situation just so he doesn't get an attack in, like right here. And we're just going to tap it. Sometimes you can play it to surprise block and kill something, but in this situation, I just... we still didn't get a land, great. In this situation, I just want to get, like, his... shut his attack down so he doesn't get more damage in. I think we have to play this now because, first of all, if he wants to attack with the Spy Bug, that means we get to attack through, and then we Surveil. We need to Surveil because we're getting really bad draws. Oh God, this is kind of irrelevant, but like once these are able to attack, we're kind of fucked. Like these eventually become able to attack. Right now, they're just sitting here. They're making our Trickster not really be able to get through, but most of our threats are going to be flyers anyway. This is getting big. This is almost ready to attack. So it's really looking pretty bad for us. Okay, still no land. We can at least attack with the Sprite this time. We're probably going to be chumping with this at some point. If this grows again, I'm going to chump. Let's surveil for land, thank God. Okay. The Jin will help us stabilize a bit. We're going to play the Trickster this turn. We're going to tap his biggest threat probably, which is going to be this. Oh wait, he didn't surveil yet. Okay, now he's going to... Well, I have to play this now. And I'm going to assume this will grow, right? Yeah, this is going to surveil 1, so this will grow. Now he's going to drop my Jin probably. I don't really care. Like, when we're choked out on land anyway, it's not like we're going to have time to play 2 of those before we're dead. But one of them is good because the problem is, of course, we don't have actually a good trade, but we can shut down the sprite a little bit better maybe. I mean, we're going to attack with this to try to surveil. We need to surveil again. He shouldn't have a good... He can block this, but it shouldn't matter. I just want to get the surveil. And I think we do need to take this to buff our Genie, our Jin. And, you know, if I hadn't had to mulligan so many times, I think you can see I think we're definitely going to lose. We're very likely to lose this one, but we're kind of doing okay, even though we mulliganed so hard. And we basically wasted, you know, this deck doesn't want to be spending turns 1 and 2. Okay, that doesn't really matter right now, but because this isn't going to do a whole lot. It could matter to start getting, he's a little bit low. Okay, that's not good. Yeah, so we're about to take some damage here. And this is just been unlocked. Oh, a little side effect I just noticed. When I played the Trickster removes abilities from the creature. So that's why it didn't grow to 5 last turn. Okay, we just lost. There's yeah, there's straight up nothing we can do here. We could chump block a few times, but it's just not going to work out. There's arguments that you could say I shouldn't have mulliganed the first time. We had a playable hand when we started, but there's a lot of aggro when you do this mode. A lot of people are red aggro, and that hand would have lost to aggro. So, and you know, even against aggro, even against control, it wasn't a very good hand because it was relying on us drawing more land, and we didn't have a draw engine at all. I don't know. Maybe I should have kept it, but okay. This, on the other hand, is like an optimal, borderline optimal hand. So Curious Obsession, you can read the card text. Basically, it's going to buff one of our guys that's hard to block. And every time he attacks, he's going to get +1/+1 also. So every time he attacks, we're going to draw a card. The only downside of this card is that the creature must attack. Well, a creature must attack. The creature that's buffed doesn't necessarily have to attack, but generally you're going to, that's who's going to be attacking because you want to draw the card. But you have to hit a player to actually draw. So there's cases where you'd be like, well, if I attack, they're going to kill my buffed dude, so I'm not going to attack. But I'll attack with this other guy to keep the buff alive or whatever. The only other downside of the card is that it's going to create a 2-for-1, obviously. Like if I play this and then buff him, this is like the juiciest removal target. But then that's why this deck has all of these counters, so that you can protect your buffed guy. Okay, is he going to play or not? It's really frustrating when you have like a kid and you don't have a lot of time to play, and you get in a match and people do stuff like this, and you're just like, okay, thank you for wasting my time. Because it's turn 1. You're going to play a land, and then you're going to play either not play or play a 1-drop. There's not really a lot of decision tree to go through here. So the other thing this card does is you can sack it to protect a creature. The absolute ideal thing you have happen is you play this turn 1, and then you play that unblockable guy, and you put Curious Obsession on the unblockable guy, and then this guy protects the unblockable guy. We don't have the unblockable guy in hand, but we are just going to play this turn 1, and if we draw the unblockable guy next turn, then we can drop him. It will delay our draw a little bit, but we don't want to have like... We don't want to put... So next turn is always a little risky when you put Curious Obsession on. You need to have some... Okay, he's mono blue also. That's really annoying. But we're okay, I think. So we're going to buff here. Now we're a 2-2. He shouldn't be able to block. He doesn't have any mana. We have Spell Pierce to defend. Maybe he shouldn't chump block it. There's no reason. I mean, chump blocking prevents me from drawing a card, I guess. But and what Curious Obsession also does, you're so likely to just hit your curve because you're double drawing. So you're very likely to draw a land every time. And you're likely to always have land, even though our hand didn't start with a lot of land. Alright. So assuming he has Curious Obsession, he's going to put it on this and not this. That's a really good draw. This is a wizard too, by the way, so it reduces the cost of that. So in this situation, I don't play anything. It would be nice to bounce something maybe and to get this on board, but we just have to be able to counter everything. Once you have your Curious Obsession online, that's your win condition, and you protect it at all cost. We also need these counters in order to prevent him from playing Curious Obsession. So if he plays another land and uses Curious Obsession, Spell Pierce is not great because he'll be able to just tap the other 2 lands and protect it. So we might have to burn Wizard's Retort on it if that's what he does first. Yeah. The downside of this is that this is our more valuable card. So, but we still have Spell Pierce up if we need it. So I'm going to do that. He might be able to counter this too. If he Spell Pierces it, then I can Spell Pierce back. I'm not 100% sure I like that. I think we're okay to do that though because we have ours up and he doesn't have his up. So the idea is we're going to draw more answers than him. We'll see though. And if he plays something like a Djinn, then we can just exclusion mage on it. Blink of an Eye. Oh, that's not good. But we can counter that too. So I don't run Blink of an Eye in my deck. It's like it's okay, but okay, this helps us protect our dude as well. So we play another. Let's just attack first and draw. And you can look at our hand size, and it's just like you can see how we have a big advantage already. Ideally, I want to save 1 mana for Dive Down. And I think Trickster is the best creature we can... Though doing this gives a big tempo gain, I'd rather use this on a bigger threat, so we're just not going to do anything and save... we could play this, I just don't think it's important. Well, it blocks the Stormcaller, I guess. Storm Tamer. I think the Trickster's better though. He's not going to outdamage me at this point. This is also just scary for him. Like, okay, I can't. And this is what the deck does so well. When you get Curious Obsession onto something and you draw a lot, chances are that you draw counter spells. Like, we actually don't have a way to counter a creature in our hand, which is unusual for this deck. But he probably thinks we do. But that's what the deck does so well, is it... Okay, so like, we can't do anything against that, but that's fine. It doesn't really matter. Do I want to tap anything? No. The only thing is, I might as well do it, because I don't think he's going to play another creature. I'd rather just shut out 1 damage versus like... Oh, that's the wrong one to tap. Fuck. Okay. That one had Summoning Sickness. That was stupid. That was a little mistake. So now he gets an extra damage in that I could have avoided. Oh, that's frustrating. This isn't like end of the world or anything, but he is going to start outracing us if we don't get like a better thing to do. We could just use exclusion mage on it at this point, I think. Let's attack for, well, he can block. That's actually the problem. We can use dive down though. He's tapped out. We can just kill it with our storm tamer. So let's just attack with everything. And he shouldn't even block. Like, knowing that we have our mana open like that is just like, what do you think is going to happen if you block, you know? Because his best chance at this point is probably to race us. Okay, he's going to block. So we dive down. And then we just get a good I mean, we had to use a card to do that, and we don't get to draw from the attack since he didn't hit him. But we're going to... I kind of want to save this for when he plays a Jhin. We could play Storm Tamer. I think we need to play Storm Tamer so he can't remove this. And at that point, I would say we chart a course. Just so we have more shit. Because we don't have a counter in hand anymore. There's another obsession. We want to draw into our counter spells if possible. I'm not super concerned about it since we still have held on to this. If he puts down any threat too big, if he buffs something, we can just bounce it. We're not going to block. So we can just buff another guy now. I'm going to buff this so it's harder to block. He does have counter available. He probably has it. I'd rather that he counters this, honestly. Like this, since we already have one up, it's not a huge deal. Like, if he counters it, whatever. It's a 1 mana. I don't want him to counter like a 3 mana play. Then I want to dig for a counter of our own. That's fine. So we're going to attack now. Okay, that's not what we wanted. We need to keep 1 mana up so we can use this ability, but I think I'm going to chart a course again. I can either chart a course or play the sprite. Maybe I play the sprite so I can block a little bit. I think that's good. I think we have enough playable stuff that we don't need to chart a course necessarily. We're pretty close to killing him. If we keep trading like this, we're going to win. He shouldn't really be able to do much. Even if he plays his own Curious Obsession, it's a bit late. Alright, so we're going to block that. He might be able to dive down or something, but I don't really care. He shouldn't have a way to kill it without a... Okay, yeah, dive down just protects it. Burns a card. Doesn't matter a whole lot. Alright, yeah, he's dead. So you can see the deck isn't like necessarily as one-dimensional as it might feel. You have a lot of decently interesting decisions to make. I mean, obviously, I don't... I'm not the biggest proponent of this deck because I do feel like I want to play another deck. That's my main goal, is to get another deck as soon as I can and play with a more fun one. But one good thing about this deck is it has no mythics in it. So if you want to like have a viable constructed deck to play that's not a starter deck, and you don't want to waste your mythic wildcards on a deck that you don't really want to play permanently, this is a good choice. Okay, this is a situation similar to the one that we lost, where we mulligan because we were afraid of aggro. I'm going to keep it this time because now it's probably going to be mono red. Now that I've got this hand, we're going to be aggroed from mono red. I think it's more important that we get a land drop next turn than it is to have a Storm Tamer on board. Okay. That's fine. That's not fine, that's great. Because we want to be able to Essence Scatter. Okay, it's green Merfolk. This is a really aggressive deck too. Our top priority is actually to just slow him down. So we hold the mana here for Essence Scatter. And then we're hopefully going to draw more land so that we can slowly play stuff while we continue to counter. The downside, of course, is that if we don't draw our land, we're going to end up having to... I 100% will be able to use this on this turn, though. He's going to... this deck always has a creature. It has no removal. It's just all creatures. So I was talking about who is the beatdown earlier. That's like a trading card game term that happens a lot. Whichever deck is fastest is the beatdown in most cases. And it's not always clear, but like you have a situation where, all right, so we have to play this and hold mana for Spell Pierce. He probably isn't going to, he's going to play a creature. It's like, since we know he's probably going to play a creature, I actually just want to play this. It's more mana efficient. I think we need to be getting our, this will help us get our land. We need to get our land. So this guy is the beatdown because his deck, even though my deck is generally pretty aggressive, his deck is even more aggressive. So since he's the beatdown, he needs to value like getting damage in on me and just trying to kill me as fast as he can, whereas it's my job to slow the game down. Because I want to slow it down as much as possible and stabilize, and then at some point he's locked out. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. So Spell Pierce would have been amazing right there. I don't think we can jump block. I just don't think we can afford to do that, but it's looking really bad here. I've actually never seen this deck running Curious Obsession, so it's kind of weird. We have to save mana for Essence. We're kind of fucked, honestly. Like, let's surveil and see what we get. This long term, that's better than a land. But, fuck, I'll take it. I mean, it's shitty. So, we'll play one of these guys. Because all we can do is Spell Pierce. He's probably not going to do anything. We probably could have played two. Maybe playing two was a more winning play. We could have chumped with one of them. It's just that I feel like I got burned. I was like, well, he's not going to play a spell, so I'm just going to play this. And then he played a spell that is going to win him the game, more or less. So I could dive down and block. I think I do. Because this will prevent a card draw at least. It will prevent 3 damage. I could also kill the Adept. Maybe that's better. That will take permanently take 2 damage off the table. I don't like letting him draw another card, but I just feel like this is at least giving me some more value. I still have him to chump with next turn if I need to. And he's going to buff this guy. This thing is unblockable. Yeah, it's looking pretty bad. Okay, we just don't have... I mean, we knew we weren't going to get land, but... This is the problem with the Curious Obsession, though. It's like, okay, we can start drawing our cards, we can buff a guy, but ultimately... ultimately, we're preventing ourselves from countering next turn. We can't use Essence Scatter, so he's just going to put another creature down. But I think we just have to do... I mean, we already decided on this play, we have to do it. And we're going to leave this guy down to chump with, I guess. Opt is not good enough. I need a land. Like, I don't want to opt into a land, I just want to get a land. There we go. Thank God. So now we actually can do Essence Scatter, which it's not necessarily going to be enough, but it's something that we need to be able to do to not lose the game. Worst case scenario is he has 2 2-drops. There's a 2-drop. The question, this is just a 1/1. Okay, I'm going to do it. If he does another thing, I'll have to Wizard's Retort it. We have to actually just use everything right now or we're going to die. Because, The way we win this at this point is to just keep drawing cards, hopefully, and eventually get a wide enough board that we can block. Blocking this every time is going to become important. We can never block with this again because we need to draw with it. So we just need to draw more shit. This is another chump that we have. We're going to attack first, I guess. Okay. I think I need this. The problem with this, of course, is that I can't use this if I play it. But I think I have to do it. It's like a risky play to do it right now. But if I don't do, like, what this is going to allow us to do is trade with stuff. Like, we could trade into this, hopefully, if he doesn't combat trick or something. So we just play it. And then we're going to at least be able to spell pierce. If he uses dive down, we can spell pierce it. Unfortunately, he has enough mana that spell pierce is no longer very good. Jesus Christ, yeah. So that would have been great to essence scatter, but we don't have the option anymore. I think we have to make that trade. I mean, there's no way to not trade there. Hopefully, now if he does dive down, we can actually spell pierce it and kill this thing. Unfortunately, he's just going to draw a card with everything else. So that's not good. Okay. So we'll attack first, see what we draw. We need another chump blocker. Okay, that's fine. Again, we won't be able to Wizard's Retort, but the genies are getting stronger, so. And I'll throw this down as a chump. We have enough mana to throw this down as a chump blocker. We're getting very close to stabilizing. This isn't going to draw unless he hits us specifically, but he's going to hit us every turn now, unless we get another creature out. Okay, this is really annoying. I think that just won him the game probably. Because yeah, we can't block now. We're going to take 6 damage. Or no, we're going to take 5 damage. Then again, maybe I just go down to 1. Well, we can never... The only draw that will potentially save us is Exclusion Mage, I think. He's not even going to attack with that, so we don't even get the choice of doing that, which is what I wanted to do, but okay. Wait a minute, couldn't I have, couldn't I have used this ability? It didn't let me do it? I'm confused. Okay, are we dead next turn? We're going to have... This guy can't do anything. So he's going to attack with 4 things, and we're going to have 2 creatures. So we're dead. We need to draw another creature that we can play. Is the only way we don't die. Alright, that's good enough. Still have Spell Pierce. It hasn't done shit for us, but we have it if we need it. At worst, it can make his shit cost more mana. Okay, that's good. Except the problem is, he's obviously going to pay the mana because this wins in the game, so we just lost. Yeah, this is just the win card for this deck. Like once you're in a situation where they have a board that can block, you can just play that and win. I don't know what we did wrong. I mean, it's hard to say if we did anything super wrong there. I think I needed to like the mulligan. I mean, we said the mulligan was sketchy against aggro, and that was aggro. So I just kind of got hurt for that in some ways. because I just didn't get started fast enough. Okay. This is good enough for me. I don't have a good playable early creature, but I have early card draw if I need it. I have an Essence Scatter, and I have 2 land. Not amazing against aggro again, but we'll take it, I guess. This can slow aggro down a lot. And another cool thing about this deck is this situation right here. So, sure, I could play the Trickster now, but why? You end your turn, and now I get to see if they play a creature, I'm going to Essence Scatter. If they don't, I can just play the Trickster. I don't have to decide that until... Dude, do I Essence Scatter that? No. Like, as much as this is a good card, it's more like... All I want, whatever he ramps into, that's what I want to Essence Scatter. That's my feeling on it. I don't know if that's right, but like... Is he going to play a creature? No, okay. It's just like... This is a low... Okay, that's really good. The only downside with this Curious Obsession that I can see is that we're putting it on a creature that's generally pretty easy to block. So what do we do instead? We could attack, just do an attack with this regular in order to chart a course. But we have to draw another land for the, or no, we already played a land. I think we have to, alternatively, we could just play like nothing and wait to counter. I think this is mana efficient enough to do. Like this is just something we do to put damage in and stuff, to just start taking initiative, to draw cards. Because like, you know, it would be one thing if I didn't have Essence Scatter and Retort ready to go, but I do. And that's like, tells me that I'm likely going to be able to protect this. The problem is just that if he puts out a creature that can block it, but again, I can Essence Scatter if he does that. So I think this is a good play. So like if he ramps out, say a 5-drop, I just Essence Scatter it. The best thing he can do is play like a 2-drop and a 3-drop. Then I have to really decide if I want to waste my thing on it, because I only have enough mana to do 1. I think if he plays a 2-drop that can block this and kill it, then I will Essence Scatter it. The problem is if he has a 3-drop behind that, that's even better. Then, you know, I'm kind of in a tough spot. This already has like... The cool thing about Curious Obsession is like if you draw with it one time, you've actually gotten value already. Okay, dude, let's go. Alright, that's a perfect target for Essence Scatter. 5-drop. So he's looking to play, he's playing a Saproling deck. Now, each time we get more mana, it just gets better for us. You know, like, we have, as you gain more mana, you have more mana open to do stuff other than save mana. So, like, right here, we actually have mana to play Chart a Course if we wanted. I don't think I need to. If I Chart a Course, we're going to have too much cards, too many cards, really. I'm just going to wait. Because, like, this time we have enough to retort and dive down. So if he, like, uses some removal on this, we can dive down, and then we can also retort if he tries to play a creature. And normally you're worried, like, okay, well, this is my last Wizard's Retort. I have to be really careful. But we have Curious Obsession up, so we're likely just going to keep drawing stuff that counters stuff, and he just won't be able to do anything. It just locks him out of the game. Of course, if you don't actually draw those answers, you can quickly become... this is sketchy. This doesn't do enough right now for me to want to counter it. I feel like Vigilance, Trample, Indestructible could be scary if he puts a lot of stuff down, but I want to be able to retort whatever stuff he puts down, right? This is going to give him more ramp, supposedly, but again, this already has that effect. So I mean, he needs to put another creature down to really leverage that. And ideally, I'm just going to be countering whenever those creatures are. And even if he gets something really big to stick, I can just play that. Okay. So I ended up not using my mana. That's not great, but I'm glad I saved the card, you know? Because if he does Saproling Swarm with a kicker. Okay, so he has a combat trick, I assume, right? Or does he just want to block the draw? Okay. So all it does is gains Indestructible? And he's Scry? Okay, fine. And I'm not going to counter that. I mean, he did that to prevent me from drawing another card, which is whatever, but... so we can easily play this and this, or this. I'm going to bounce this just because he seems to value it. Like, if he didn't really need that mana, this just gives us a little bit more tempo to work with. Although it prevents us from using Retort plus Dive Down. So let's just play the Herald. We could chart a course now, because... oh, no, we can't. No, never mind. We can do it, but we're not going to. Whatever. So I assume he's going to try to play like a Saproling Swarm with Kicker right now to get a bunch of tokens that he's going to buff, and we're just going to counter it if he does. Okay. Wow, he doesn't have anything? Okay. Sucks for him. We are going to bounce this now just so he doesn't get any value out of that. We'll bounce it before combat too because I want to be able to get the attack in and draw a card. Alright, that's good, I guess. We'll wait until his turn, of course. Yeah, it does nothing. So really glad I didn't counter that. You know, like, you see a card like that and you're like, oh, I should counter this because it's so valuable, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let me think about this. I don't care enough about this card to counter it, I think. This is an aggressive card, and aggression isn't going to help him at all anymore. Okay, I don't care about that either. So I guess he just has nothing, really. I mean... We will just go ahead and play this to be mana efficient. We'll tap... I don't think it matters too much, but I'm going to tap this just so he can't make it indestructible. He could block our dude and make it indestructible. He can now he just has the chump block if he wants. Alright, there's a late Jin. That can close out the game, though. We attack with everything. I don't know why he doesn't just concede. Like, I mean, yeah, I know sometimes you should really, like, try to play for that unlikely event that you can win, but this doesn't strike me as the type of game where you're going to come back. He's just so locked out of everything. Like, he could have... I guess he could have Settle the Wreckage would be pretty good. That just needs white mana, right? It just, like, kills all attacking creatures. So maybe I shouldn't have attacked with everything there, just because. All right, so we're about to break even. Not that this is one of my weaker runs, because I lost two pretty early, but you know, even if even this ends up costing me 100 gold, I'm still getting like cards out of it. Okay. Very good hand. We're going to Curious Obsession the Storm Tamer, probably. Settle the Wreckage is 4 mana, 2 white. So we'll remember that. Okay, this deck is really annoying. I mean, of course the deck I'm playing is also very annoying. So this is actually way better to play it on this. Now, there's a few... This is always an interesting question. Excuse me. Burped. This guy's going to get really big. We're going to run out of time quickly. But the interesting question here is, do you do this right now? Or do you just play this and leave 1 mana open to protect this when it has Curious Obsession on it? I can't remember what the mana cost. There's removal in this deck. I think it's a 4 mana removal though. I'm going to test it. I think we're low enough on time that we need to just like go right now. So we're going to you know, maybe we double Curious, and then next turn we play this. It's so no. Let's just we'll do Curious Obsession. I really do think the removal is 4 mana, but I might be wrong. I'm assuming he doesn't have any removal in his deck that can handle this on turn 3. A little bit risky, right? Okay. So now we play this guy to protect him next turn. For when he does have the 4 mana, we can sack this to keep it. The problem, of course, is that this just keeps growing. So, and we don't have the only answer we have to this really is chump blocking, and wow, that's not good. Chump block exclusion mage is our best draw right now to just bounce this. Let me think about this. We can dig for Exclusion Mage, but we also need land and Exclusion Mage. Chump blocking here feels really bad, but it's 6 damage. What's this going to give us later on? It's going to prevent this from being removed, but I think we just have to chump here. Like, he's just getting so aggressive. We need to buy ourselves time to draw into stuff with our Curious Obsession. Okay. Do we opt first or just attack? We really need Exclusion Mage. I don't think we have any other answer to this. So the thing is, if we just draw it off the top, we can play it right away. Alright. We could have also done double Curious. I don't know. That's really all in now. That's actually really good. So we will opt, but this is going to prevent this guy from attacking next turn, which is really good. We can buy more time. Dive down isn't good enough. Dive down is not bad, but I think we just have to get Exclusion Mage, or this thing is just going to destroy us. And I'd like to draw, but I'd rather be able to do the Trickster. We just play this pre-combat. Hopefully he wastes a bunch of shit buffing. I mean, he just gets this buff no matter what. He doesn't actually have to, like, invest resources into doing it. And this is annoying. This will just keep growing. It sucks that we didn't have, like... I mean, this is a 2-drop. It's really hard. If you're on the draw, it's really hard to be able to counter that before it gets down. And that's just one of the what's it called? The weaknesses of this deck is just because you can't, like, you don't have a way of removing something once it's down other than Essence Scatter, or other than Exclusion Mage. Alright, so this is 7/7. We're gonna tap it off with the Trickster before combat begins. Okay, yeah, come on. I'm trying to be really careful I don't accidentally hit... Okay, yeah, I didn't want to accidentally press attack there. The problem is he just keeps healing too. So like, all right. So now we can opt before we attack, just to try to make the draws better. I think we do that. I would like to put a second one of these down, but I think we just have to get this off the board. Island would be okay, but I can't like, fuck. All right. No, I guess I should not have attacked with that. Definitely not should have attacked. I don't know what I was thinking. Sorry. No, that's bad. I guess we chart a course now. I mean, we might be able to draw it. There's another Trickster, which is good if we had one more mana. So we'll play that as a chumper. We'll chump this here. Fortunately, this deck does have a lot of chump block, so we can we don't necessarily have to remove it. We just have to prevent it from damaging us every turn. Otherwise, he doesn't really have any pressure. We're still at 20 health. Of course, he can just keep developing threats. That's the real. Create 2 tokens. Oh my god. Yeah, I think we're out of this. My kid just woke up like he should have slept for another hour at least, and he just woke up. So this is the last one, I guess, even if I win. We'll chump it. So the problem now, like even if we draw Exclusion Mage, which it seems like we're never going to, we'll double Curious here. Double down. Try to draw this. Oh, people are in the chat now. Yeah, the kid is good. He's crying right now. I have to go get him after this game. Going to the doctor actually with him at 1:30. There's a Tempest Gen that doesn't really do much. It could kill this at least. We have to hold mana for the Trickster though, because we're just gonna, we don't have a chump blocker anymore, so we have to just Trickster this, and then I'm actually gonna chump this probably. Oh my god, dude, come on. I mean, I'd love to do that, but I'm dead if I do. Yeah, I'm gonna. I'm gonna try to get my. I need to find my old stick. I'm gonna start playing. I have to find my old stick, and I have to set my hardwire Ethernet up. But then I'm gonna start playing. I actually want to play Street Fighter 4 again a little bit, and Guilty. I'll play Guilty Gear. But I just want to try to play some fighting games again, even though I can't play offline anymore. Alright, so how dead am I? Oh, I forgot to tap this. I guess I just was talking and autopiloted and died. So, GG. I wasn't going to win that. It didn't matter. There was no coming back from that. He got like the ultimate starting hand, curved out perfectly. So that didn't work out too good. The thing is, like, we got 400, we paid 500 gold to get 400 gold back and 3 cards. And 3 are uncommons. We really wanted to win another, so we got a rare, but it's like good enough. Well, that's not, oh, it at least uncommon, but you can still get, this is a mythic, right? I can never really tell those colors that well. Yeah, it's mythic, I think. Alright, so I mean, yeah, it works out pretty well. That's a good way to grind. Are you playing draft or standard, Dingus, or both? I started out drafting a lot, and then I ran out of gold and gems. My plan is like, once I get 5,000 gold, I'm going to do a draft again, and then hopefully I earn a lot of gems off the draft, and then I do competitive draft with the gems. I'm not actually buying packs, which is why it's taking me so long to get the deck. I want to build this deck here, and I'm short a lot. This is all the wild cards I have, which is not a lot, and I'm short a lot. So yeah, I'll try to get it. It's such a pain to play fighting games. Like, you have to have all the shit. Like, you really can't play on Wi-Fi. And every time I move so often, and every time I move, it's like in this apartment, the router is in the garage. So I have to use those like the thing where you plug it into the power outlet, and then you have another power outlet, and they sync, and then you get a hard line like that. Or I'd have to run a cord through from the garage all across the living room. I'm not going to do that. And so And then I have this shitty stick that doesn't work on my laptop. I have to find my old stick that has the buttons. They're not Sanwa buttons, so I can't do jab hands on that stick. Maybe I can retrain my muscle memory or something, but um, I don't know. I have to go though. My kid he's up and I gotta take him to the doctor. But thank you guys for watching. And I'm probably gonna start streaming on Twitch and then just dumping the videos onto here because I don't think there's really any growth potential streaming on YouTube. But thanks for watching, guys. Later.